It is March 6th, 2022. I'm watching today, they have on, which I've never seen, X-Men from 2016, Apocalypse. It sounds very, like, I'm following, for the most part, the storyline the best way that I can. They in mimic, which I don't know if the articulation is appropriate or not, show what the CIA does with some database that they're actually able to check on, like, I don't know, like read your mind kind of a thing, like read your abstract, to see whatever, if that's, I don't know, if it's at the level of human. I haven't been able to enter this system in the way that they allow others to perform. And then I'm watching the scenes play out in this almost calypso way. And of course, then I go back to real life with the red nebula and the blue nebula and Iris and the hunger in the eye. But then I listen and I'm watching the characters play out, how there's these sounds that they give in this version of English to Magneto. But then there's other characters that I've seen. We have our own franchise of what's popped in to check on me, I suppose. I can see a relatively close relation. I don't remember the characters' names in my actual I don't know, do you call it an action figure? I mean, I'm limping and I've been microwaved by humans and their whatever, and some kind of development. But I find it so interesting with this theoretical of a night crawler, and I don't know, they just put all these sounds on this. I took the one sound from Hungry in the Eye, mixed it with a different tyranny that I am aware of, and all of a sudden the Magento character name came out. But when it spoke, oh my god, it was like acid in the ear. It was not hunger in the eye, the way that a woman would like a man to gaze upon her when they are forever partner, but at mutant of mute. I just find the way that they've woven pieces together in this very complex structure. Having a codex piece is so I mean, the artwork, when it becomes, the problem I think is the awoke movement that was awoke before the wake. And if the mutant is on mute and doesn't know why all of these awoke movements are going on, it seems counterintuitive, does it not? I'm trying to figure out what this means in my codex, and I'm having difficulty deciphering my own pieces and parts, which leads to a more difficile or difficult, whatever. This is interesting. Raven loses her raven blue for some reason, and all of a sudden her raven blue looks awfully human. I can't tell if the actress herself, if she has blue nebula in the windows to the soul or the windows to the world through the eyes. However, I feel it's just an interesting it's an interesting acknowledgement. There are several overlaps depending on the codex and the pieces of the story, because there's different time periods when you are an eternal flame, and at times you wear red nebula yourself, and at some point you got thrown into a blue nebula conduit, and out came a pair of blue nebula yourself. But of course, always craving to go back to Hungary in the eye with the red nebula.
You're not gonna see it here. The only thing American about this place is that it used to be British.
This is Scott. He's new here too.
And I'm already up for a prison break. What do we say we take this blue guy on a little field trip? I'm sure there's a mall around here somewhere.
What's a mall?
What's a mall? All right.
Now, what I find very interesting is the eye. They are very red gold nebula in the iris. I mean, they say iris here, but iris.
All right. Now this is a matter of national pride, civic duty.
Scott.
1 second, yeah.
What? You've been cooped up here for a long time, and the professor's not even home.
I'd like to go to the mall.
Try it. All right. Where does he keep his car?
At Chipotle.
This mutant, which is, my children said it last night, something Stark from Game of Thrones crossover. She has blue nebula, or blue iris.
Wait, that's her?
Yeah.
Hey,
You can see.
yeah. It's not as bad as I thought here. You're still scared of me. Hey, I have special glasses now.
They're not scared of you, they're scared of me. You're not the only one who can't fully control your powers.
Wait, so last night, when the house shook, that was you?
Sorry to break it to you, but you're not the biggest freak in the school.
Well, that's a first.
Frick. It's a collection. Now, the mind erasure doesn't surprise me. Whether they call it amnesia, time dysphoria, it's unbeknownst to me, based on where the figurine enters at any given point. It's whatever is traveling or trailing behind is whatever. But what does frighten me is this one scene about multiple cults functioning. If your main Ruzel or main puzzle pieces are knocked out of joint, how can you have multiple cults competing or fighting with one another for anything other than full restoration of the major puzzle pieces being put back into place in the Ruzel? But yet, here I am with no hungry in the eye, no over 6 foot. I've gotten non-essential equipment broken, both of them, as far as one tried to kill me. The other one led me to slaughter several times, reputation or by physicality. That's why I don't understand these humans. And this scares me, and I didn't see it happen.
Found out about mutants in 73. There have been cults who see them as some kind of second coming or sign of God. I was tracking one of them. They call themselves Ashir en Sabanur, named after an ancient being they believe to be the world's first.
World's first.
This is the pieces of anthropology that I am missing. I do not have sacred scripts of ancient texts to articulate with agency, we'll call it, to shore up the invention of the philosophy or the theological for a larger canvas.
First what?
The world's first mutants.
I don't know where they hide.
I thought mutants didn't evolve until this century.
That's the common theory, yes, but these guys believe that the first mutant was born tens of thousands of years ago, and they believe he will rise again. They've been searching ancient sites all around the world for clues.
Do they still call this divination?
These hieroglyphs describe a specific set of powers greater than any man could possess.
They think he lived all that time.
Yes and no. They believe he had the ability to transfer his consciousness from body to body, and whenever he was close to death, he would just take on a new body. Some of these may have been the bodies of mutants, enabling him to take their powers, amassing various abilities over the years.
An all-powerful mutant.
Exactly. And wherever this being was, he always had 4 principal followers, disciples, protectors he would imbue with powers.
Like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. They got that one from the Bible.
Or the Bible got it from him.
I don't know what Bible they read. I have some very small, it's about this big, by this thick. It's an orange one that I've referenced before. It's very tiny. They don't reference any of these biblical terms that I've seen other people reference. But again.
And wherever he ruled, eventually it would end in disaster. Cataclysm, some kind of apocalypse.
The end of the world. Hit it. And FX.
And now some say that's been blown out of proportion. I had a moon when I was born in this whatever with Blue Nebula. But my world has been changed because now when I look at the night sky, there's no moon for several days now. Now in this population that thoroughly frightens me, but I know that there's whatever and whatever with there's a portion of hide and seek that knows things that I am unaware of or have not been brought up to their educated understanding of certain texts, we'll call it, in America, but I know there are scholars that know things. There's a reference to a higher power, and this one person who insults the higher power, and then all of a sudden he's absorbed by the wall and only his face protrudes, but he almost turns to cement. When I speak of adhesion, like surgical adhesion looks between the physiology and function of the organs inside, it damages and then becomes harder. It at times in this Bayside feels like somebody has adhered me to some magneto disparity for some reason. So therefore the body machina is not working the way that it should in its function. The breathing apparatus is off for ability for barometric pressure. I've had an incredibly hard time breathing lately. And also blood pipes in the pump for moving things around. If you think in like a plumber type of a way, the pressure is also off, which then causes problems. But then again, that goes back to a magneto issue, a magnetic read, and it also goes back to these adhesions into the wrong formula for weather patterns. And they showed the other night, which I showed, a spaghetti with Wilhelm Yorkness. He has a formula for weather pattern, which the humans showed, and I put on my whatever catalog. Not the formula itself, just the fact that he was the one from 1920s who was bestowed the honor of a label. But then the human Panetta said that they work with some spaghetti formula of multiple. Why? The rusel is knocked out and the puzzle pieces are not properly laid to fix the rusel. Why are they using multiple formula anything? This is that adhesion into the physics space that I feel in this area. I've been pushed, and now the metrics are off. So that's why it feels like electricity coursing through the interstitial fluid, whether it's electrolytes, whether it's a buildup of urea or uric acid within the blood chemistry. I'm not quite sure, but that goes to the kidney function because the nephrons and that whole apparatus works off of pressurized through the calyx, through the entire system. So of course the filtration will be off, so my uric acid will be up, which will impede my biological function. But again, these are more powers out of my control, but it does affect the human anatomy as it goes or tries to go through a daily function, whatever that might be. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. It's Earth, solar system, Milky Way, universe, galaxies, broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. And for reference, it's that. Oh, and the station is this one, FX.